Atlanta News First Alert meteorologist JD Disharoon here, and we're going to be giving you an update to that threat for severe weather that's going to be moving in during the overnight hours. In fact, we're going to continue to watch as we see the storms rolling across the really central portion of the Mississippi River Valley right now. But for us, we're still staying relatively quiet right now. We're going to be seeing a wedge still, very similar to what we saw earlier in the week, just not as strong. You remember then it went all the way down towards LaGrange. Today, really Atlanta for the most part. The actual city of Atlanta seems to be the extent of it. Notice we're at 50 degrees right now, 50 in Griffin, but 62 in LaGrange. And we're going to notice this warm air continue to rise up to the north as we go into the overnight hours. So we're going to see basically a warming trend during the overnight, kind of the opposite of what we typically would see this time of the day. Now, we will see those temperatures eventually rise back up towards the lower 60s. Again, that's about where LaGrange is right now. Showers and storms basically start to arrive in Georgia around 3 o'clock in the morning. So unfortunately, right when you're asleep, you definitely need to have a way to get those warnings. The Atlanta News First Alert weather app, a great way to get that warning to you. It'll wake you up and let you know what's exactly going on. But, you know, once the storms move through, not all of them are going to be severe. We're going to be looking at the potential for severe weather. So you notice that LaGrange down there is now in an enhanced risk, so that's a level 3 out of 5. Carrollton, Rome, Douglasville down towards Griffin, Peachtree City, you're in a level 2 of 5, a slight risk. And then the rest, or almost the rest of our viewing area is under that marginal risk for severe weather. So that's going to be a level 1 out of 5. What are we looking for? Well, damaging straight line winds are going to be the main threat. So that's winds greater than 58 miles an hour as we head into the overnight hours. But we can also not rule out an isolated tornado. So sorry I used a double negative there. An isolated tornado is possible is a much better way of saying that. So we just kind of have to keep our eye on the forecast overnight. And again, that's why it's important to get those warnings while you're asleep. So here we are, 4 o'clock in the morning. Notice this line starting to push through Calhoun, up in Dade County and up into Rome, into Floyd County. Sorry, a little brain just kind of stopped there. Carroll County, Douglas County, down towards Troup County. Also notice the temperatures. This is when we start to get up to those lower 60s, and that warmth is helping to fuel these thunderstorms as they move on through. Now by 5 o'clock, moving through Atlanta, Jonesboro, Thomaston, up towards Dawsonville, Lawrenceville. So this is the core of your metro Atlanta, DeKalb, Clayton, Gwinnett counties, Rockdale counties, all starting to see the effects of these storms. And then quickly they move out. So by 6 o'clock, we're talking Athens, Clark County, Oconee County, down towards Covington, and then it's gone by the time we get to about 8 o'clock in the morning. Notice the temperatures, though, tomorrow. I know it's a lot to see on this one map, but it's really the easiest way to show it. We're at 62 degrees when these storms are moving through. By 9 a.m., we're down to 54. And we continue to fall as we go throughout the day. So by the time you start to eat dinner, sun's still up around 5 o'clock, by the way, but already in the 30s. So we're talking 39 in Atlanta, 37 up into Dawsonville. Blairsville already at the freezing mark, and temperatures are just going to continue to fall as we head into those overnight hours. Meanwhile, as we go in towards the rest of the work week, notice we're starting things off relatively quiet, mostly sunny on Monday. But the cold front really is living up to its name. We're going to be starting things off with very cold air and a hard freeze Monday morning. Most areas in the mid-20s. Temperatures by the afternoon struggling to get out of the 40s. Meanwhile, Tuesday, we start to warm up a little bit. But it doesn't last long because Tuesday is when we start to see the clouds from our next system starting to arrive. And Wednesday is our next First Alert weather day after the storms tonight. And the Wednesday system is what's getting a lot of attention on social media right now due to the potential for some frozen precipitation mixed in. Now, this is the European model. I'd like to point out the GFS model, the American model, actually has the freezing line even farther north, up into Tennessee, up into North Carolina. So for the most part, as of right now, it looks like Metro Atlanta is going to stay pure rain, a very cold rain, but a pure rain right now. Obviously, we're still 4 days, 5 days away from this. You know, how the colder air sets up is going to play a huge difference. But notice even as we go throughout the day, it's really that northern row of counties that border North Carolina and Tennessee. So we're talking Fannin County, Dade, Catoosa County, up towards Raven and Habersham. You may see some frozen precipitation. I don't think it's going to be all snow. I think snow may be mixed in with sleet, freezing rain, and rain itself. I think the full snow, like all snow, is going to stay up towards Knoxville, over towards the Asheville area, and unfortunately not quite in our area as of now. Things could change. I know a lot of us want snow, so we're kind of hopeful for it, but I just kind of want to prep you. As of right now, it does not look like that's going to be heading in our direction unless you live in the far northern portions of the state. Best chance, though, is to see some flurries on the backside as that colder air rushes in and the moisture rushes out is, late evening Wednesday, but nothing more than a flurry there. And once that system moves out, we're going to continue to see colder air. I mean, take a look. Temperatures in the low to mid 20s as we go into Thursday and Friday morning. High temperatures low to mid 40s. Some folks Thursday not even making it out of the 30s by the afternoon. So you definitely want to bundle up. A far cry from what we saw during the morning hours. I should say the early February hours. We were in the 70s, setting daily record highs. Now we're going to be trending about 10, maybe 12 degrees below average. And that'll continue on into next weekend as well. So our temperatures are going to be still into the mid 40s as we head on in towards your Saturday. So we do have a lot going on in the next several days and into the next several weeks. And that colder air, let's take a look. So even beyond your 7-day forecast, I'm going to pull up the extended outlook. It's going to take just a minute here. You can see, even as we go through the next 8 to 14 days, so almost 2 weeks, colder air is really going to settle in on the East Coast, but warmer air starting to move into the west, into the central states. That'll eventually make its way into our direction. But I think it's not going to happen for us until we get into early March. So, that just kind of gives you a perspective of how long this colder air is going to last and how long it's going to be sticking with us. So, again, one of the things I want to go over, and I'll kind of hit that timing again for a lot of folks. So, for the most part, we're going to be looking severe threat overnight between about 3 and 7 a.m. for the majority of North Georgia. LaGrange, Troup County, Heard County, you were under a enhanced risk, 3 out of 5. Rome, Douglasville, Griffin, you're under a 2 out of 5 to the west. East of that line, so Atlanta, Athens, Macon, up towards Ellijay, Gainesville, you're in a level 1 out of 5. And the biggest threats for us are going to be the damaging winds and the brief isolated spin-up tornado. Timing on this, again, warm air starts to rush in. 4 a.m. enters the state, 5 a.m. through Atlanta, 6 a.m. through Athens, and then it's gone by the time we get to about 8 o'clock in the morning, with temperatures continuing to fall throughout the day. So I can't stress this enough. Even if you wake up in the morning and it's in the upper 50s to lower 60s with the rain in place, you want the jacket because it will be a very wet and a very cold afternoon as you make your way through the rest of the day. So that is your forecast for right now. We will continue to monitor it as we head into the evening hours. Obviously, the First Alert Weather Team is going to be watching the next system with a very close eye, just given how close that potential for maybe a little bit of frozen precipitation is as we get in towards Wednesday. Otherwise, have a wonderful afternoon into your evening and enjoy.